Blood sugar blaster, complete review, more information video description link below this video. Is the key to reversing type 2 diabetes hidden within an ancient Hindu manuscript? Find out how a simple 5-second daily habit can control your erratic blood sugar levels for life. As my wife slammed her foot on the brakes, I saw our lives flash right before our eyes. Fear pulsated through my body. My first instinct was, are my grandchildren in the back seat going to be okay? After the impact of the crash and the commotion that took place in the ensuing seconds following, I turned my head around to check on my grandchildren. By God's grace, both grandchildren were unscathed. Both with confused looks on their faces, they asked, "Grandpa is not alright?" My wife of 42 years, and their grandma was not alright. She had just suffered a diabetic-related seizure, causing her to lose control of the driver's wheel, crashing into an innocent man on his motorcycle. Fortunately, he survived, but not without serious bodily damage, injuries that put him into a medically induced coma. The memory of leaving our local county fair that day is engraved in my mind forever. My wife Susan and I had a day that dreams were made of, a warm summer day, bright blue skies with a perfect breeze, a full day with our beloved grandchildren, filled with rides, games, stuffed animals and corn dogs. That day though quickly turned into a nightmare in a matter of seconds. Before that crash, my wife suffered from type 2 diabetes for just over 8 years, gaining over 51 pounds during this time. She was fatigued daily, and her overall health had diminished drastically. She suffered daily from the many side effects that come along with high blood sugar level, high cholesterol, frequent urination, nerve pain, blurred vision, heart disease, high blood pressure, constant dehydration, to name a few. Her life was filled with daily finger pricks and expensive toxic meds, all putting her in a constant state of depression, with no hope in sight that this could all end one day. It did not help that her doctors kept telling her type 2 diabetes was not a reversible disease, and that it could only be managed at best. Day after day, month after month, her health was quickly deteriorating. Some days it seemed as if we were counting down the days until her suffering would end. I refused to bear witness to my wife living like this, living a life with no optimism or hope. This never say die attitude of mine is what led me to discover a miraculous Hindu medical manuscript dating back to 600 BC that saved my wife's life and restored her health back to its normal healthy state. A medical manuscript written by the king of modern-day medicine and surgery, literature that is now the foundation for virtually all medicine and medical practices around the world today. Knowledge that is now used at the Harvard Center for Integration of Medicine and Innovative Technology, the School of Medicine at UCLA, and dozens of other prestigious medical and research institutions across the globe. His writings revealed what is now known as the 3 invisible enemies of type 2 diabetes. These medical writings that were overlooked and mistranslated for over 2,000 years gave my wife Susan the secret key to destroying the 3 invisible enemies of type 2 diabetes, leading to my wife reversing her type 2 diabetes, melting pounds of extra fat off her body, gaining back full control of her life and her health, all within 30 days. A long-lost all-natural solution that is so simple and effective that no matter how severe your diabetes is, how long you have had it for, or what your family medical history is, can be implemented into your daily routine in the comfort of your own home in a matter of seconds each day, enabling you to reverse your type 2 diabetes, taking back control of your health and life from the grips of diabetes, just like my wife Susan did. A solution that also will enable you to ditch the toxic prescription meds that corrupt Big Pharma loves feeding diabetics, saving you thousands of dollars of yearly medical expenses. This all-natural solution has now saved the lives of 76,367 people, and counting, from across the world. You too can start using this simple secret once you understand the truth about diabetes. So, you might be thinking this all sounds too good to be true, and rightfully so. But in the next few minutes, you are going to discover that everything you thought you knew about type 2 diabetes is wrong. You cannot control diabetes with medications or insulin, because they do not treat the root cause of type 2 diabetes. They only treat the symptoms. These prescription drugs and injections can actually make your diabetes even worse, increasing your chances of death. You will also find out how my wife's near-death experience led us to discover the simple 5-second daily ritual, a ritual she used to eliminate the 3 invisible enemies of type 2 diabetes, and also shed 46 pounds of weight off her body, rejuvenate her body from the inside out, giving her energy levels she has not felt since she was in her 20s, giving her back the health and quality of life that she had been missing ever since she was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic 8 years ago, freeing her from the shackles of type 2 diabetes. This same simple daily ritual that healed Rick S., age 61, from Florida, who said, "I had been taking meds for 6 years, metformin, insulin, you name it. Nothing was able to control my sugar levels. After following what I discovered in this presentation here, my blood sugar levels are consistently stable. I even enjoy sugary treats freely." It also helped Nicole M., age 74, from Australia, who said, "This presentation changed my life. I am very happy with the results. My blood sugar is stable, and I have more energy. I lost on average 4 pounds a week for the first 3 months using the product. It's great." Let me introduce myself. I'm Dan Paulman, and I'm an office manager at a medical and research laboratory here in East Lansing, Michigan. If you're wondering why I am sharing the story of my wife Susan and her struggle with type 2 diabetes, it is because her trials and tribulations with the disease has now led us to helping and curing tens of thousands of other type 2 diabetics like yourself, and our goal is to keep going until we free the shackles of diabetes off every type 2 diabetic and pre-diabetic that is being affected by the unforgiving disease. When my wife finally came to consciousness after she was taken to the hospital due to our horrific accident, she had a dazed and confused look in her eyes. As she stared up at the faces of our entire family and the doctor in the emergency room, she asked us, "What happened?" Unfortunately, I had for the most part nothing but bad news to tell her. I had to tell her that as we were leaving the county fair making a left-hand turn onto Oak Street, she went into a diabetic seizure due to her blood sugar being a frightening 512 milligrams deciliter. Lost control of the wheel, and clipped an oncoming motorcyclist. Aside from that, the good news was myself and our grandchildren, and we're all okay, and by the grace of God the driver of the motorcycle, while suffering serious injuries at the time, went on to a full recovery. Not to my surprise, her facial expression went from confused to sad, as she realized that the day her health completely failed her had finally arrived. Although saddened, she was not surprised this happened. You see, Susan was going on her 8th year since she was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. With each passing year, the disease's shackles took a tighter and tighter grip on her life, to the point where our life of retirement went from the dream we worked so hard for all our lives, to her now being a prisoner of her high blood sugar levels. Susan and I met while attending the University of Georgia. We lived what some would say a normal life after graduating college, a typical middle-class suburban lifestyle. Spring days spent at the park watching our 2 boys in Little League Baseball. Summer BBQs on the lake, brisk fall nights watching our daughter play ASO soccer. Our 3 beautiful children all went on to become parents themselves. We even had our annual family summer vacation to Florida. It's fair to say we did well for ourselves and our children. We were always thinking about our future and the future of our family. Our kids left the house and went off to college when we were both in our 50s. For us, this signaled that our retirement was right around the corner, and we were ecstatic. We were looking forward to it with so much optimism and excitement, but that all came to a crashing halt right after Susan's 58th birthday. On what was her routine yearly physical, the doctor told her those 5 fateful words: "You have type 2 diabetes." This came as a bit of a shock to both of us, as we both lived healthy and normal lifestyles. We were never the most active and athletic couple, but we would go for walks around the neighborhood occasionally and play couples tennis together on the weekends. We had packed on some pounds throughout the years, as most do with age, but nothing that was worrying at any point. We would indulge in our nightly desserts and adult beverages. More information, video description link below this video.